Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Psychotronic Coast to Coast. Today, we are talking about an Empire Pictures film called Necropolis, City of the Living Dead, of which there is no living dead. So, generally speaking, Empire films are known for the quality. This one is not a quality film. Spoiler alert. It is the first part of our Lee Ann Baker double bill, which will be followed by Mutant Hunt. We'll get around to that. And side note, for those who are joining us live, Mutant Hunt will not actually be watched next week. The way we record the episodes, we record an episode a week about each movie, but when we do the podcast, it's actually two live stream episodes combined. So, just a thing. All right. And joining me, as usual, is my fine, feathered friend, Owen. How's it going, Owen?
It was better before we watched that movie.
Well, it was not the greatest film. So, the back of the box says, Lusty Lee Ann Baker and Michael Conti take you down under, it's in quotes on the back of the box, to Necropolis, in an action-packed zombie thriller that makes Night of the Living Dead look like a slumber party.
What a bunch of bullshit.
Yes, a bunch of bullshit, yes. This is directed by Bruce Hickey. This is his only feature film. Directorial. He did a TV film after that, and then 2 shorts, and that was it. Gone from the business. Granted, the gap between shooting this in 1987 and working on the TV film was 30 years. So it was in 29 years, because they worked in 2006, I believe, on the TV project. So so why don't you take us through this pile of shit, for lack of a better word.
Let's see how much I can remember, even though we just watched it.
Yes.
It starts out in the ye olde time.
Ye olde times, holy shit. 300 years ago. We'll say it that
I also liked that I didn't really pick up that these were the same people until almost the movie was over.
1687 is the number, by the way. That's it was 300 years before 1987.
Yeah, you see a priest following a witch through the woods. She starts killing some people. It was kind of weirdly cut together because it's like a wedding and blood drips on her, and then all of a sudden she's getting her neck slit.
Yeah, so I gathered that she was like trying to summon the devil, and then she gets killed by the priest because she's trying to summon the fucking devil. Yeah. Priest got to do his job.
She was dancing randomly as well.
Yeah. So to best describe this film, dude. First of all, let's point out, she has like 2 extended dance sequences, by the way. Just prolonged, awkward dance sequences. One of which one is the witch in olden times, and one is the as the witch in modern times, and within 10 minutes of each other, by the way, of film.
Yeah.
In the first 10 minutes of film, there are 2 like 3-minute dance sequences. It's stupid.
Because there's like the wedding going on, and then she's dancing, and then blood drips on her, and then all of a sudden she's just killing everybody. And then the priest shows up and stabs her with a cross, and she's like, "You'll never kill me." And then it just cuts to the 1980s or whenever this was made.
1987, yep.
And she's just, it's the witch. She's got short hair now, and she's sitting on a motorcycle looking at the Twin Towers.
Which obviously does not exist anymore.
You get a overly long sequence of her driving her motorcycle.
Oh, God. Just like the horribly long sequence of anything. So I theorized about halfway through this movie that they shot about 60 minutes worth of footage, and then they edited together and went, "Fuck, we're short. We need like how much Charlie? How much time we need to make this feature length? Like, it needs to be 76 minutes. Like, okay, we need to make 16 more minutes." And then they just did the dance sequences and the driving and the wandering around sequences and the pointless interactions with people. And I'm guessing that's when they shot the pawn shop kill at the beginning.
Yeah, it leads into that. It's like he's acting like he's like a pawn shop, but it's like all like black magic type things.
It's a black magic pawn shop, man.
And she's there, the witch is there, and she wants this certain ring, which I don't remember her even getting it. He put some ring on her, and she's like, that's not it. She gets into his mind with her witch powers and makes this high-pitched squeal until he dies and blood runs out of his ears.
Yeah, I'd like to point out that he stands in the. Oh, here's what it is. He owns a pawn shop on the front. I figured it out. My brain just put the shit together. Okay, on the front side, on one setup of the same set, you have the front pawn shop, and he sees her through the window, and he goes like this, and goes to the back, and she walks around out of sight. Cut to the same set, redressed as the occult store, and he's got a occult pawn shop in the back room. That's what this is. That's my brain just transformed that shit together. So yeah, all right, and then so it's the same set that's used twice within the same sequence, back to back, which is a big no-no. You never do that because you need to go from the same set to the same set. It's obvious. You need to put two sets. I believe it's two sets between two different locations between before you use the next same set again, unless of course it's supposed to be the same place. You know.
So I have to assume he had the ring. I don't remember where she got the ring.
Yeah, he had the ring. She was tricking him out of thinking that wasn't the ring.
Oh, okay.
And he wasn't falling for it, so she killed him. I think.
I don't know.
I'm not entirely sure.
Because it's weird. Because he says that some scary black dude had it or something.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to he wasn't really scary, but it cuts to a black priest.
And obviously gay black priest.
Which
like I see it.
I'm assuming is the same black priest from the olden times. His new version of himself. Since that's happened with the other two characters as well, which we'll get to. But.
Yeah. I'm gonna this is just an aspect of the transfer, but the African American gentleman in this film is very hard to see because the contrast is so fucked up. They're talking to like the black left half of the fucking frame because he's in all black and he's standing in a poorly lit, and it's a poorly transferred film on a fucking VHS master, and you can't see him in some shots, and it's appalling. And we made a comment of it, and we're just like, wow, oh my god. So I had to point this out. It is offensively badly transferred. It's a racist transfer. There you go.
Yes.
It's noticeable. It's just I had to bring it up. It's like you're gonna notice it in the first 15 minutes. You're gonna be like, "What the fuck? Really?" It's a bad stand-up joke, and it's happening before me. It's just bizarre.
He's being interviewed by a woman. I believe she was some paper or something. It didn't really.
Of some sort.
Yeah, it like starts that way, and then she's just kind of there the rest of the movie, not really doing anything. But so she's interviewing him. He's cleaning up, getting people off the streets, helping them with their drug problems, their prostitute problems. And she's interviewing this guy, and the witch is looking through the window, I assume, and she's being like, "You're cold." So the guy starts acting like he's cold, and he's like, "Don't let him touch you. He wants to have sex with you." So then, of course, the guy goes over. He's like, "You've been using. You having withdrawal." Of course, the priest touches him, and he's like, "Get off me!
You don't touch me, you F word." derogatory term for a gay person.
Yeah.
I'm not going to repeat. And I was like, whoa, all right. Well, it's the 80s.
So he was like, stop the interview. And he leaves with the reporter. And this is where you see the sequence of her putting on an outfit and dancing for a good 5 minutes, grinding on a staircase.
It was like her doing a stripper dance. Like she was showing off her stripper training. I'm not saying that Leanne Baker's a stripper. I'm saying that it was as if she was a stripper, and it was awkward. And I'm just like, it was like, this is like 2 minutes too long.
It was like a reverse strip. She was putting clothes on.
Exactly. It was just really weird.
And now after she's dressed, she goes back to where the interview was taking place. I think his name was Tony. And talks that guy into killing himself. He was he wasn't the one being interviewed. He was there because he was like, Tony, is he using? He's like, no, he's clean, boss.
Right. God, I don't remember that.
He's also a former junkie that the priest saved.
The movie is slowly fading from memory as we talk about it. Wow.
But she talks him into slitting his wrist.
Oh, that's right. It's right. And then you made... Yeah. Right.
So the cop's there, and there's the coroner, who was my favorite because he seemed like he was someone who'd want to be on Broadway the way he talked.
Yeah, his way he talked was a little weird.
And he was like a real dick.
It was pretty hilarious, actually.
And,
God.
The priest was like, something's up, this isn't right.
I got to say that nobody can act in this movie. I got the priest doing his really, really darndest to be a Yaphet Kotto, and then he's just doing a disservice to himself. Leanne Baker is probably the most competent actor in the film, and she's not that great, honestly. Probably why she only did 7 movies. She did 3 in '86, 4 in '87, and she's done with the business. So, I don't know her reasons for leaving, but perhaps criticism of her ability, maybe a distaste for the business. I don't know. It's interesting. I would be curious to find out.
Yeah. The priest doesn't buy that he killed himself. He said something's up, and the cop dismisses it, and gets a little jumbled up in here. But so she's out killing some people to get their essence, their souls, their ectoplasm, as they learn later.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, because we had this weird flashback, and she reveals she goes topless, and then suddenly she goes like this and goes, what? And suddenly she's got 6 breasts, and then these weird monsters crawl out of the dark, which you could only see by their fucking eyeballs and teeth as they floated through the blackness that was this terrible transfer. And she's standing there with her arms open, but all you can see is the white flesh and her face and her hair, and that's it. You can't see her arms or her legs, which are platinum black, as these heads float through the blackness at her and then suckle on her teats, kind of off screen, but kind of on screen, but badly composed, so it doesn't look like anything's really happening. But it's not even like a suckling noise, it's like a kissing noise. It's really weird. Or chewing loudly with steak in your mouth noise. It's so fucking weird. My buddy Cass would just be really disgusted by this lip smacking noise that was happening there. He hates that. So
yeah. So I have to assume those things are the zombies they mentioned.
I guess. Were they undead? They were just monsters, really. And they never really did anything but suckle on teats twice. That was it.
Yeah. Well, later they shoot one. And
oh, God, they shot one. I mean...
But it doesn't do anything. So.
Yeah. None of them did anything. It was just... They were fucking pointless.
I meant the shooting didn't hurt him.
They were just fucking pointless in the movie. It was just... Anyway,
so during this part of her going out, turning tricks, a.k.a. killing people, or fighting prostitutes.
Fighting prostitutes for turf. That was great.
Yeah,
that was actually a really great interaction.
She did not kill the prostitutes.
Merely fought them for territory. these three prostitutes are standing on like a corner, and she walks up, and they start talking, and she's like, "Oh, this is Angelo's corner," and they're like, they start getting into a fight about who's going to trick on this corner, and it's probably the most genuine interaction in the entire movie. It's the best part of the movie. It's actually the most memorable, one of the most memorable parts, because everything else is fading away quickly.
So when this stuff's happening, the cop is kind of, hooking up, not quite sexually yet, but hooking up with the reporter, hanging out with her. They're drawn together, which took me a while to realize that was the reporter is the girl in the beginning that had her throat slit, and the cop was also there. They were the ones getting married, if I remember right.
Yes, that is correct.
And now this is their current life, so they're kind of drawn together.
And don't be too hard on them, because for me, I didn't even realize that the witch and the reporter weren't the same character for about 30 minutes. So I thought that when the night came, she became the witch, and I was super confused. And then suddenly I had an epiphany because someone talked about, oh, there she goes. I was like, oh, well, I guess they're different characters or whatever. Like, fuck. It's not a very well-made movie.
What kind of sealed it was they had the flash, like he tried to kiss her neck and she stopped him. And he had that weird line like, what, my lips are soft?
Oh, it's so awkward.
And she's like, I have a thing about my neck. I don't like it being touched. And then it has a flashback or a quick shot of the scene with the neck being slit. And they're like, oh, it's the same person.
That they put specifically because of people like you and me going, the fuck? Who are they the same character? I don't know. And then it wasn't clear enough, so that was them making it clear.
And another thing that never comes into play for any reason whatsoever is the reporter seems to be obsessed with Asian culture.
Right? Like she has like the bed on the floor and the low table.
When you sit on the floor.
Racistly calls them Orientals.
Yeah.
She has that was totally okay in the 80s, mind you.
The Chinese lanterns hanging everywhere.
Yeah, it's a mishmash of cultures for sure.
It's I guess just a little backstory for her that's just there.
She's enamored. She's enamored with Asian cultures. I believe they call those Weibos, right? Is that the offensive term for people like that? I don't remember. I'm gonna offend somebody at school.
Isn't that more anime based?
I guess. I don't fucking know. Like I said, I offended somebody. Who cares? Oops.
I'm sure they're watching this.
Yeah, I'm sure. All right, so they're making out. Kissing my neck.
That was just kind of a throwaway scene. Just kind of setting him up. He comes back later and hang out with her again.
I do the case refuses to stay.
But some point in here, while the witch is killing people, the priest comes in and is like, "Did you have the coroner check the ectoplasm?" And he was trying to explain it, and the coroner's like, "I know how to do my job."
Yeah, and by the way, the coroner's office is in the middle of, I don't know, someone's office space. So like, there's a dude in the background making copies while the scene's going on. Like, I'm not joking. There's a dude in the background making copies on a copy machine while they're talking about to each other, the corpse laying on the counter. And I'm pretty sure he's not part of the cast because he looks over and goes like does a double take, like, what the fuck is happening over here? And then gets on with his day. It's bizarre.
I love the coroner. He's such a dick. And he just shows up with a notepad and just looks at him, writes down. He's like, they had a heart attack.
Oh, I love it. He's got this really chintzy voice. It's so bad.
But so the priest explains that yes, they had a heart attack, which only like two of them did, which he kind of just dismisses. He called she like burnt them with her like Satan ring, and then he's like some weird tattoo. Like, meh, he just brushed it off. Not that it would have been clearly a fresh burnt in their stomach.
Yeah.
The star symbol. And he's like, heart attack. Done.
It's the worst coroner, like, known to man.
He's like, did you check the goo that was running out of him? See, that's where we learn that she's killing them. She's sucking in their ectoplasm and then it's out of her 6 teats for
to
these
the weird zombie creatures.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird. This movie is bizarre and awful, and I don't know why I own it.
So now the priest he knows what they're kind of going after. He's sitting there with all these sharpened sticks making crosses. This woman comes in, another prostitute drug addict that he saved, and the witch tries to get her to kill him, and she shoots him in the arm, but then she fights it enough and shoots herself.
Off screen, by the way, you don't see it. Of course, they don't have the budget for that. And the gun's pointed above her head because, she's not a dummy. She's not actually going to put the gun in herself. You don't do that in real life. And I bet you it was a real gun. She was like, dunk, up there. And they cut away, and then you hear the gunshot. And he's like, oh, and like the blood splattered on his face. Yeah.
Yep. So now it gets really jumbled towards the end because it jumps all over the place. But they're going after the witch. And she sends... first the priest and the reporter are together, but the priest leaves. And then the cop comes and gives her a gun. And then he leaves to go meet up with the priest. And one of the zombie things come in. And she unloads on it with a gun. Does nothing.
Of course, because she's invulnerable to the ring.
So she ends up being kidnapped, I assume. Again, it cuts so much that I didn't really know what was going on. But she's now on the thing again, like back in the olden time, and the witch is going to slit her throat again.
Finally complete her satanic ritual to bring Satan forth.
And the priest and the cops show up, and they just start stabbing all the zombies.
And shooting everybody, yeah.
With the crosses, which kills them.
Crudely made wooden crosses that are apparently magical. Probably blessed.
Cop shoots the knife out of the witch's hand. She goes to make the cop shoot himself, but he resists.
What I felt like when he pulled that trigger and all it did was knock her gun out, the knife out of her hand, he looked surprised, like she should have got shot. And just the side effect was that the knife got knocked out of her hand. The way he reacted was like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? Like, that's why it was like he expected her to get shot, I think, and it didn't happen. Instead, the knife got knocked out of her hands because they changed the way it was edited, probably. And
the scene's just hilarious to me because she's like, you want to kill yourself. You're going to kill yourself. And the priest is like, resist it. Block her out of your mind. And she just keeps talking. And it goes on for a couple minutes. And then finally the priest just fucking chucks a cross into her stomach.
And it flies like a fucking mighty dagger and like impales her. And it's really bad.
So cop grabs the reporter, leaves. Priest starts dumping gasoline everywhere. But he gets grabbed by the witch, who's still alive. Cop comes back in, chops her hand off. They light the place on fire, and they run out of the building. But the priest is like, "Where's the ring? I need the ring." And he's like, "You can't go in there; it's going to explode." Building explodes. I don't know why gas exploded the building.
I don't know. The movie doesn't have sense. Things just happen for no reason whatsoever.
Now, at this point, I'm like, it's over. That's the ending. They killed the witch. The end.
Finally.
I look down. 10 minutes left.
And then immediately the character proclaims, "It's not over." I'm like, fuck! Not over. Jesus. Why can't it be over yet?
You cut to which we didn't really mention. The reporter was like anti-sex. I don't know how that came up. She was against it.
Puritanical.
But apparently saving her life was enough for the cop to hit that.
Yeah, apparently.
Which you don't see but it just kind of like they're having dinner, and then she's in bed and he's taking a shower. So apparently had sex. And now you see the witch's burnt hand, which I was kind of hoping it would be running around like the Thing.
It wasn't, sadly.
Close enough. It's grabbing on the blanket.
Really cheaply done.
And she's like, "Stop it. We just did it."
Oh, God.
And it grabs her neck, and then...
There was a running inappropriate gag commentary between me and Owen, because the movie was so bad we were doing whatever we could to entertain ourselves, and they kept saying such suggestive things. So when it kindly came to that, we were just like, oh my God, it was lewd comment, because it's like, get this movie over with, please, it's painful. And then of course we're laughing because it's coping. It's how you get through painful things.
And of course I'm like, all right, she's possessed. Instantly, you just know.
Oh man.
But then it gets, if that's not strange enough, he comes out. It's clearly not. Clearly, she's possessed because she's acting like the other woman. She's swearing. He's like, "Yeah, you just fucked me." Like,
right?
Shit. The woman would say. And of course, he heard the scream first and ran out.
He's a dumb fuck, by the way. We're just gonna put that in perspective. He's a detective who's also a dumb fuck.
Yeah, he thought she was dead. She bit his finger. Now he's like freaked out. Of course, he's completely talking different. He's just kind of really awkward, like slides in the bed with her.
Oh yeah.
And for round 2, and we're just waiting. Like, all right, the hand's gonna come around. Yeah, there's the ring. I assume she killed him because next scene you see she's dressed in the prostitute clothes, walking the streets. Camera zooms in. She evilly laughs. Now it's finally over. Mercifully,
the credits roll, and then I asked myself 5 minutes later, I was still watching the credits. Oh, over in the chat, Hellskull asks, at least is there any gore, blood? Not really. There's a beheading. A couple people get shot. One guy gets impaled. But...
The beheading was funny because it was out of nowhere.
Yeah,
and like the head's gone, and the hand's like... And you could still hear the headless guy going, "Oh!"
Yeah, it was pretty funny. But yeah, there's not like a ton of gore. There's nothing here for the gore hound, sadly.
There's six tits excreting.
There's a bunch of weird... Yeah, there's a lady with 6 boobs, and like clearly it's 2 extra sets molded after her already molded boobs. So it's like 3... It's not even any real boobs, I don't think. It's... Yeah... It's like, it's a weird, like, the special effects aren't good. Like, there's nothing here. Almost all the death comes off screen. Almost all of it. Just a few that we've mentioned, like the beheading and the impalement, and a few other mild things. Yeah. I would rate this film 3 burning trash piles of poop.
1.5.
This is the perfect late night film. This is a movie that comes on at 1 a.m. while you are fighting insomnia, and you black in and out, and you see only the good parts, and you don't know what it's called. And for years, you hunt and hunt and hunt for this VHS, for this movie. You just remember parts, and none of it you can't find anywhere because there's no internet yet. And suddenly you find it, and it's a fucking disappointment. But that's not the point. There's that search. That's what this movie was, man. This movie was that. This is that movie.
I still have one of those movies I gotta find.
I will help you find that movie.
There's a guy trying to rape a woman, and she shoots his dick off with a shotgun in a barn. That's all I remember.
Well, viewers, if you guys have any leads for us, that would be great. I'll look, but I'm not gonna hold the show. So for the next half of our God damn it, let me try that again. So for the next half of our Leanne Baker Double Bill is Mutant Hunt, and then we'll cut right there. Go ahead and tell the folks what we're actually watching next week.
Next week is Don't Let the River Beast Get You.
What the laces is it?
It is a low-budget indie movie from New Hampshire / Massachusetts, starring Matt Farley, who has a couple of movies.
Never heard of him.
Freaky Farley, Murder in Match Vegas. It's like Murder, Marriage, and Mayhem. It's a long title.
Never seen any of those.
But yes, it's a river beast, and shit happens. It's also not gonna be. There's like no cursing or anything. He doesn't curse.
Weird. All right. Hey, sounds interesting.
And this
so that's
is
what we'll actually be watching next week.
That's the original cover.
Oh, cool.
They don't come with that cover anymore.
Hell Skull asks, is it worse or better than Blood Tracks? I've never seen it. I do want to note, you'll probably have to rearrange this next clip, soundbite. One last thing, there's no original music in this film. It's all reused tracks from scanners and eliminators. So there's not even like an interesting soundtrack. It's just, I was fighting to stay awake during the movie. I was fighting to stay awake during us recounting it because talking about the movie is boring.
The soundtrack was the best part.
Yeah, all the best parts from other movies. So, yeah, that's all I had to say about that. Oh, man. Ow. Oh, I do want to announce to the audience here, outside of our podcast recording, we're doing a best of the bad, which, yes, I am totally ripping off best of the worst and not using best of the worst, but using best of the bad because they took it, and bastards. Anyway, we're doing a 4-movie block at some point soon. After we, so we're doing Freaky Farley, then we're going to do Mutant Hunt because we alternate picks so that we can force each other to watch movies. Then he gets another pick, and then we'll start doing these movies. And these are the best of the bad. We've got Samurai Cop and Miami Connection, which is one of my favorites, and Ninja Busters, which is my favorite bad movie right now. And we'll also have, for the fourth part of that, because it's going to be 2 double feature podcasts, the fourth part of that will be our first watching of Dangerous Men. I haven't seen it, so, but it's a new release from Draft House Films, and it's supposed to be bad. So that is the future.
Never seen any of them.
Yeah, he's never seen any of them, and these are the best bad movies. I laugh uncontrollably during all of these movies. They're so funny. They're so bad, but they're like hilariously bad.
Better than Hard Rock Zombies?
No, they're right in the same class, dude. Same class.
Because that
is top tier bad movies, dude. I love Hard Rock Zombies. That will also get watched at some point. That's supposed to be in a Blu-ray one of these days. So.
I hope so.
I know.
That is a gem.
That was a gem? What's that?
It's a gem if people have never seen Hard Rock Zombies.
Oh, yeah, it's great. Especially the zombie that eats himself. I love Street Trash. Have you seen Street Trash, sir?
I have not seen Street Trash.
Oh my goodness. There's another bad movie, a great bad movie. So many gore effects. It's about this contaminated hooch that makes people melt.
Is that the cover with like the toilet?
Yeah, the guy melting into the toilet while pulling his hand, like while holding the chain. Yeah. Yep, don't worry, we've got Deadly Prey on tap too. That's something that's in the collection. We'll be doing that at some point. I gotta save the best for the bad for next year too. We're doing small film sets, so the idea is like blocks and pairs. So we're gonna do drive-in double features because we're talking about Psychotronic film, which are like drive-in features, grindhouse movies, direct-to-video films, the shit you'd see on '90s television late at night when you're half asleep, like Necropolis. That's the point. Some of these are gonna be really bad. Some of them are really great. Some of them are gems. So, do you have any movies you'd like to talk about, like maybe doing later down the line?
I want to do some 90s, like, comedies.
Oh, interesting.
Like
Like what? In
don't,
particular?
don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Oh my God. Okay.
Serial Mom.
Oh, Serial Mom's great. I love Serial Mom.
My friend's a vampire. My best friend's a vampire.
I think Scream Factory released that.
Yeah, my boyfriend's back.
Milk Creek released that, I think.
Like these random ones I remember watching from my childhood.
Like Dead Man on Campus, maybe?
I've only seen bits and pieces of that one.
I've never seen it. I've just heard about it. It's a favorite of my friends. You know what we should do on Halloween? We should do Space Invaders around Halloween. Have you seen Space Invaders?
I have not, but I have the Blu-ray.
Oh God, it's so good. It's so bad and good, and love it. It takes place on Halloween, and these aliens crash. It's great. So
we'll have to dip into some Bigfoot stuff soon too.
Absolutely, we need to cry wilderness because we gotta cross it with the Don't Let the River Be Sketchy, right? Wasn't that what the plan was, or was there a different plan for that? I can't remember.
Don't know. I'm not sure how many aquatic beast movies we will watch.
Oh, I'm sure I can find one if we want to pair one up. I've got a fucking archive behind me. So, final verdict on Necropolis. Should people watch it?
I'd say watch it.
Watch it?
Why not?
Right. I'd say watch it once and then do this. There you go. It's where it belongs. It lives there now. Wherever that was. I'm just going to go on the shelf. Anyway, any last words?
No, that was already our last words.
Yeah, that was all last words? All right. Well, we'll see you next week, guys. Peace. Where's the stop button? God damn it.